My all-time most popular video with over 2 million views is a van tour of a beautiful Ford Transit that belonged to Kristin of Where the Road Forks when she just 5 weeks into van life and totally rocking it. In this video, I catch back up with her via Zoom to see her new van, talk about what worked so well that she incorporated it into her new van, what she didn't include that she misses, what she felt needed to be changed in her former van so badly that she bought a new van, what she went with instead, and the process of selling her van while on the road. And before we dive in, I just want to invite all the women watching to join our Nomadic Women's Virtual Happy Hour on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, where we build our nomadic community. You can find the link in our Facebook group, Gal Adventures, and that link's below. Also, if you like this video, it really helps others find it if you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Thanks so much for having me. So my name's Kristin. I'm Where the Road Forks on Instagram, and I've been on the road for a little less than 3 years now, and this is my second van. So I've learned a few things along the way now. I have a 2019 Ford Transit high roof, and it is 148-inch wheelbase. So it's almost the exact van as what I had before, except I had a medium roof before, and now I have a high roof. So I gained, I think, 11 inches in space. Yeah, which is
That's a lot.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what worked so well in your first van that you kept it in the design of your second van?
I have the partition wall with the sliding pocket door, and I have like a full-length mirror in my pocket door, which is very lovely. Most people don't have a full-length mirror in their van. So I love having that to get ready. And then right as I open the sliding door here, so before I used to have a sink, and underneath the sink was a shower hose that would come out so I could spray the dogs like their muddy paws off or whatever. And now I have a bench. I'm currently sitting on it, and I went ahead and still kept the hose in the bench, so that way when I open the sliding door I still have that. And it really comes in handy, and that's also how I shower when I'm in the middle of nowhere. I love having that. And for anyone who has dogs, I highly recommend having a hose like right at the sliding door if that's where your dogs enter after like a muddy hike or something. It is a lifesaver.
Is there anything that you did not incorporate that you miss?
The first time around, I did not prioritize storage at all. The second time around, I think I over prioritized storage. The first time I had the dinette conversion, the 2 benches that turned into a queen size bed. This time around, I did a fixed lofted bed, and underneath I have the garage. So when I open the back doors, I have a lot of storage underneath. And don't get me wrong, I am utilizing every inch of that storage. But I miss the dinette conversion more than I thought that I would. So if I were to ever do a third one, I think I would blend the two, and I would do a lofted dinette conversion. So where I have a few, maybe like 1.5 feet of garage space underneath it, and then I'd have the benches for storage as well. But I can really only have one other person in here at a time, and I miss being able to have multiple people in here to play card games or whatever. It's a bit of a bummer. I miss doing that. So I kind of wish I would have, and just to work. I mean, my little desk that I'm sitting at now works just fine, but if I have another person in here and we're eating a meal, we're crammed trying to utilize the table. So when you open up the sliding door here, I kind of have my bench area, and you immediately face into the kitchen, and I have a great propane oven stove combo that I love. I had an induction stove laptop in my first one, and that drained the batteries. And this time, even though I have a better electrical system, I still just wanted to be able to cook whenever and not have to worry about sunshine or, power levels. So I also have a pull-out table. If I could also update one thing, it would probably be the length of the table. It's just slightly too short from the length of my bench. So I wish that it extended all the way out to my bench. But underneath the table, I have my 12-volt fridge. And I went with a 12-volt this time around to save on energy. Last time I had a 110-volt fridge, and it was also just a battery drainer. Here in my bench that I sit on, I have kind of like a junk drawer, and then I have my toilet that slides out. It's just a cassette toilet. Then I have my lofted bed and some storage above the bed, just on one side. Underneath the bed, I have tons of storage. This is where I keep my inflatable paddleboard and extra clothes, hiking gear, climbing gear, all the things that I need. I also have this sunroof that I can pop open, and I can fully remove the glass. And so then I just climb out through the sunroof, and I have a little roof deck here on the back that I can sit on, which is really lovely to go up and have a glass of wine and watch the sunset or some tea, watch the sunrise. It's one of my favorite things about this build, and it was a custom built deck. I also have this pocket door that slides open, and it can lock open and it can lock closed, and it locks through a magnetic lock, which is really nice. So I don't have to worry about having a key, and it just looks more seamless. And it's nice because it does help provide a little bit more of a home feeling once you're in. Although I will say this, when I first did the pocket door, it was for the intent of safety. If somebody tried to break in, then it would take them a minute to get to the back. Well, I had a break-in about a year ago, and my thought process on the pocket doors being a safety measure completely went out the door. So for anybody considering a pocket door for safety reasons, I want to share my experience, because I don't think it provides any safety. The reason being, my passenger door, the window was smashed, and they basically just reached in, unlocked the door, and just opened my sliding door here. That took them all of a few seconds to grab a backpack of mine with about $3,000 worth of computer gear and run. So I don't think the pocket door adds any value of safety at all. I think it is great cosmetically. It looks beautiful, it looks clean, and it helps you feel like you are in a separate space. Lately, I've been covering all of my front windows and leaving the pocket door open, and my dogs actually love sleeping up there. So I kind of wish I would not have done the pocket door, the partition wall, and then I could have the swivel seats, and it would make the van feel bigger. Yeah. So kind of just some thoughts if you're considering a van build, something to consider there. So above the bed, I have some upper storage just on one side, and this kind of holds my clothes that I use the most. So like yoga clothes, pajamas, underwear, those types of things. And I have a lot more clothes stored underneath my bed, but that's kind of where I keep my immediate clothes. And then above my kitchen, I have an exposed shelf, and a lot of people think that things fall down a lot, or I have mason jars up there that they might break, but I pack everything so tightly in there, nothing really ever falls. Maybe occasionally a coffee bag will fall down. I love having that access. One, I don't have to worry about things falling on me once I open the door. I can visually see everything, and I keep a lot of my beauty products up there, so it's easy for me to just grab them while I'm washing my face or whatnot. So it's very convenient, and I love having the exposed shelving.
Same. I am a huge advocate of the open shelving with a lip. And bins that you'd set up there, and then you take them down, you can see everything inside, and again, nothing's going to fall on you.
Exactly. I love it. Wow. And it looks really nice too. Okay. So my entire electrical system is Victron Energy, which is really nice. It's some of the highest quality off-grid solutions that you can get. I have a 200 amp hour lithium battery, and I have a 3000 watt inverter. I have about 430 watts of solar up top. The interesting thing about my system is that I have two different types of solar panels. I have kind of my front panels are all Zamp, the brand Zamp, and then my back panel sits on top of my roof deck. So I didn't want to lose out on space, but I also really wanted a roof deck. So we have kind of the mounted, more obvious, larger panels up front. And then in the back, I have a flex panel that's really flat and I can sit on it. And that sits on top of my roof deck. So because they're two different brands, they have to be on two different types of charge controllers.
Right.
And then I also have alternator charging. So my system, I think the lowest that I've ever seen my system get to is 30% battery. And that was when I was in Baja, Mexico, and it was really hot, and I was parked under the shade at an RV park for about 4 days straight. And I was only getting sunshine for a few hours a day, and I still was doing just fine. So
Great.
I will be very honest that the Victron Energy is not cheap. It is the most expensive part of my build. I decided to really focus on that because I was working remote and wanted to make sure that I didn't have any issues this time around, especially because COVID was still a thing and I didn't know when coffee shops would start opening or libraries. So I needed definitely to make sure that I could be in my van working all day if I needed to. And it's a pretty flawless system. And I also have shore power hookup as well. So that is something I did not have in my first van that I now have. So I can hook up anywhere.
Can you share with us why you chose to build out a second van?
Yeah, so basically my first van, I got a medium roof. And so I was tall enough to stand up in it, but it was like right now I have a bun on top of my head. I would have been touching the ceiling. So it was just tall enough. And I felt a little like closed in. And then I didn't add any additional storage like up above in the back. And so I had to constantly get into my benches in order to get my storage. So it was a little bit of a flaw in the design on my part. And then the electrical wasn't the best. There's definitely a difference in knowing how to do electrical systems in a home versus knowing how to do off-grid solutions. And I felt like mine was more so tailored to like an actual house. So I wanted to upgrade the electrical system a lot. I was having some difficulties. So I just decided we're going to try again.
And so how did you find a new builder?
So actually, I met my friend Sam out on the road traveling. I had him look at my electrical system. He did a fully built DIY bus. About 6 months later, he opened up a conversion shop, and he let me know like, hey, for the first 3 builds we do, we're going to give 25% off on labor if you're interested. And I was like, heck yes, I'm interested.
What was the process of selling your van like from the road?
That took a little bit longer than I expected. That took 3 months, and I actually listed it for sale right before COVID hit. So I listed it for sale around like end of February, early March of 2020. And then COVID hit, and May came around, and I still hadn't sold it, and I was ready to hit the road again. And I was like, well, I'm just going to head to the West Coast and hopefully someone reaches out. I had only listed it through my Instagram, Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist. I was 10 hours into my drive to the West Coast, and a woman reaches out, and she was like, I'm in Washington, like Bellingham, just north of Seattle. And she was like, I want your van. And I was like, are you sure? Because so many people said that, but they didn't actually. She's like, I'm sending you money right now. So it kind of worked out great where I just went straight to her in Washington, sold my van, and then I was homeless.
I find it so helpful to see what other van lifers changed, and I hope you do too. I'm so grateful to Kristin for sharing her new van, even if it was virtually. If you liked this video, please share it, and if you'd like to see more van and rig tours, van life tips, and other information to help them get on the road, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. If you're a woman who would like to join in deeper conversation, join our Facebook group, Gal Adventurers, where I organize our weekly Nomadic Women's virtual happy hour every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific so we can build nomadic community. This is Joni with TheGalavan. Enjoy your journey.